Now we start with the daily guide this morning. Oforiatta US case. Judge demands extradition papers. Court denies Abu Trika bail. Remember the Abu Trika matter? The court has denied him bail. And JHS student kills colleague over boyfriend. This is a very, very sad one. NPP delegates wants disruption plot probed. Ninoy U.S. arrest divorce. Ninoy U.S. arrest divorce threats triggered brutal stabbing. This is according to an uncle.
Okay, let's get into the chronicle for this morning. Hosea chapter 8 verse 7. Does it ring a bell?
Hosea chapter 8 verse 7.
They sow the wind and reap the whirlwind.
Hosea chapter 8 verse 7.
During the election petition.
Yes.
GPRTU throws a fit, arrests 15 drivers for charging multiple fares. So these drivers were doing short routes.
Yes.
They moved to from here to the next place, then reload. 15 of them have been arrested. We're told that of the 15, only one was a union driver. The rest are not union, do not belong to any union.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also on the front page, Bosoman Crado has not been distilled. That's according to the family. Baumia leads in a Center for Public Opinion and Awareness opinion poll. Volta Students Association honors Opon Fosu for exemplary leadership. All on the front page of the Chronicle.
Before I go to the new finder, let me read this other message from Nanekria at Spintex. And she says that, good morning, Kojo and Winston. The scrap dealers are also cutting the street lights and road signs on the same Major Mahama road.
Hey.
And I've been observing this the last couple of weeks. Those scrap dealers on our roads are a national hazard. William, I forwarded your message to the Urban Roads Director. And so Nanekria will forward yours as well. But that place has a military unit at the roundabout. So how do these people get the balls to go to that area to steal road accessories? Anyway, thank you for these messages. If you also are observing things you want to share with us, 055-1111-997. We'll be happy to get your messages and your concerns and share with the appropriate authorities. Now, the new finder, Ghana multidimensional poverty falls to 21.9%. This is really, really good. And if you look at the data, there is an urban-rural divide, and the northeast and savannah regions have multidimensional poverty of about 50%, which is really, really bad. Ashanti region, Eastern region, because of the huge populations, also are seeing a lot of people under the poverty line, and it's something that we need to discuss and talk about as a country. Now, government support for garment factories to increase jobs or generate 27,000 jobs. This is the trade minister. Yesterday, she was at the government accountability series, and she gave an account of the work she's done so far as trade minister. Intentional travel boosts mental health, brain awareness. This is a health tourism expert. And Ghana's energy banking systems vulnerable to cyber threats. This is an analyst giving us this warning.
Now, the insight for today at World Economic Forum, Mahama leads Accra reset talks today amid great power rivalries, trade tensions, and conflicts, others. Now, the Accra Reset Talk is a Global South initiative working to strengthen sovereign capacity and reimagine international cooperation in an era of unprecedented global challenges. And, so it's coming at a time that we're told that the whole globe is marked by intensifying great power rivalries, the collapse of global aid narrative, and unprecedented trade tensions, and the crisis of climate shocks, cost of living pandemics, and conflicts. We're told several sitting heads of state are expected to attend the side event, including Egypt's president, and Kenya's president, and president of the Democratic Republic of Congo.
The mention of Egypt is quite interesting. I was just reading about a project they've been trying to do over the past 50 years. There's a depression somewhere in Egypt, which is about 50-60 meters above sea level. So they've been looking at how to construct a canal from the Mediterranean Sea into the depression. I've forgotten the name of the depression. I'll pull it up for you.
Yeah, I've read a story.
So they are going to fill that up to create another avenue for them to have more land for people to settle, more land for agriculture, and it's quite interesting.
Well, you see, that's what we've been asking for.
Yeah.
Haven't we? We've been talking about the new city in this country, a new city.
Yeah.
Have we started the feasibility and the designing of the new city? What must be done? Do we have the buy-in of all Ghanaians? We need the buy-in of all Ghanaians, and then would compel every leader that comes in to actually do that.
Yeah, and in the southwestern desert of Egypt as well, there's this development. It's a huge agricultural enclave, which is about the size of Greater Accra region. In the desert, with its own airports,
they're doing
with
well.
center pivots,
Of course.
So it's
Anyway, still with the insight, cervical cancer in Ghana, a fight we should already be winning. Ohema Echai Jekum wrote this. An IEA survey reveals most Ghanaians say country on right path under Mahama. Over 400 jobs lost, entitlements delayed as Heath Goldfields faces scrutiny. And Ghana-China seal $30 million grant for Damongo University project. Save the Nation appeals to UN to ensure global peace amid rising conflicts and tensions. And finally, U.S. visa diplomatic strain brouhaha. Majority rejects minorities' call for a Blackwest dismissal.
And the name of the depression is the Qattara Depression in Egypt. Now, let's go to the overseer now. Multidimensional poverty drops to 21.9% in Ghana. This according to the Ghana Statistical Service. 37 military hospital lots NHIA for timely claims payment. Ghana to refine 1 ton of gold weekly as Gold Board signs landmark deal. And Ghana begins process to acquire Kwame Nkrumah's former residence in Guinea. JUSAG has suspended their planned strike after the government responded to salary arrears demands, and 27,000 jobs to be created through 3 new garment factories. This is the trade minister. It's a trackable promise.
We'll track
27,000 jobs,
we'll measure
3 garment factories.
But David Maxfuga, General Manager, Sales and Client Service, the multimedia group, has sent me a message. And he says I should go seek counsel from Israelai, because Israelai sees him train every Sunday. And I said, Massa, the job day ground, it's not about how long.
You people are going to walk from Independence Square to Lagos, the registry.
Oh my God. Agronoform.
And we go to Major Online. There's a photo of Osei, former Deputy Speaker of Parliament, and is Deputy Speaker of Parliament the right expression?
First Deputy Speaker.
First Deputy Speaker, yes. And he says, we have managed to build sufficient confidence among NPP members. He's commenting about the upcoming presidential, the flag bearership elections of the NPP. We laid out the rules for all candidates. Osei defends NPP's internal election process. Mahama champions Accra reset at World Economic Forum meeting today. COPEC accuses industry of victimizing Star Oil over fuel price stance. And extradition request moves Oforiatta case beyond immigration matter. This is Eduji Tamaklo speaking. Akufo-Addo to chair Commonwealth Observer Group for Bangladesh elections and referendum. That story is also on my joint line. And IMF Africa Director praises Ghana's gains in power access and living standards. With the NPP primaries, 211,849 delegates to vote in 333 centers. That's on the NPP primaries. If you go to citynewsroom.com, big regions, big burden, Ashanti and Eastern regions top Ghana's poverty numbers. And if you go into detail, it's basically because of Ashanti having a lot of numbers. If the incidence is even 20%, you're going to see about 1 million people in poverty. But if you look at the percentages properly, North, East and Savannah lead with the incidence of poverty, and the rural-urban divide, about 18% difference between the rural incidence and the urban incidence. It tells us one thing, that we need to deliberately send development to the rural areas.
But development must be deliberate.
Yeah.
It must be. We leave things to chance in this country. You know, we always would leave things to chance, hoping that what we see in the movies would be what would happen in reality.
Yeah.
They don't happen like that.
More stories from City Newsroom. Ghana has improved living standards, but jobs remain a challenge. This is the IMF and COVID-19. IMF provided $70 billion in support to sub-Saharan Africa. This is IMF speaking. VRE Nedco announced 3-day power rotation in Sunyai, and Comac to engage Star Oil after membership suspension. So those are stories from City Newsroom. If you go to BNFT, poverty declines for third straight quarter to 21.9%, but regional inequity deepens. This is the Ghana Statistical Service. And decentralized agric policies at local level for growth. This is the Chamber of Agribusiness. Exim Bank to raise $200 million to protect investments and drive industrial growth. This is the Trade Minister. And Treasury bill issuance surges as yields climb. A report on Ghana's Treasury bill. And producer inflation ends 2025 at 1.9%, down from 26.1% in 2024.
That's good news. But the talk about decentralizing agric policies. We have directors in there. Of course, beyond the policies, they would need funds to see through its implementation. So the challenge with the decentralization in this country is the funds. Okay, so what we have done mostly in our decentralization is to engage in deconcentration and sometimes delegation. Deconcentration is just moving an office to another place, and you take instructions from the center. Delegation, you take instructions from the center, but you are also allowed to take your own decisions. But then devolution is the highest form of decentralization. And that's what we should be thinking about in this country, where people have they raise their funds and they take their own decisions. I don't know why we are always scared of allowing the districts to take their decisions, and we always want to decide for them. So we found ways of actually, even with the common fund, we found ways of getting the minister and the administrator to decide how the common fund should be used, which is very bad. Send these funds to the districts. Let them decide what they want to do with the fund.
Yeah.
No, that's not what we want to do here.
Every district works on their composite budgets. They have their medium-term development plans. So we need to
which
enable
are
development.
approved.
So we need to enable them to develop.
Exactly. Well, anyway, we'll talk more about this
Anyway,
after the BBC News.
I'll take you to the Daily Guide now. Oforiatta U.S. case, judge demands extradition papers. The story says a United States immigration judge has ordered the federal government to provide proof of an extradition request made by Ghana against former Minister for Finance Ken Oforiatta, who is facing the possibility of being deported for overstaying his U.S. Visitor visa. The judge gave the order after the U.S. state attorneys, as part of their opposition to an application for bail, informed the court that Mr. Oforiatta is a subject of an extradition request. Now, other stories. Maybe we should read the multidimensional poverty story. It's everywhere. So let's give details to listeners. Now, the story says that Ashanti and Eastern regions recorded the highest number of multidimensionally poor people in Ghana, with more than 1 million affected in each region, underscoring how population size is reshaping the country's poverty map, even as national indicators improve. While regions such as Northeast and Savannah continue to post the highest poverty incidence rates, which is above 50%, the data shows that high population regions are now carrying the heaviest absolute burden of deprivation. At the national level, poverty remains sharply divided among rural urban lines, and in Q3 2025, multidimensional poverty in rural areas reached 31.9%, more than double the 14% recorded in urban centers, reflecting on equal access to basic services and productive opportunities. Meanwhile, the Greater Accra region and the Western region recorded the lowest poverty incidence, both remaining below 20%, highlighting wide regional disparities that demand geographically targeted policy responses. One thing I want to do is to look at the data and go to the mining areas, especially the areas with a lot of galamsey, to see the multidimensional poverty rates. There are some people who believe strongly that where the mining is happening, people are being thrown into poverty because their livelihoods are being lost. People are taking over their farmlands, and all the minerals that are being mined from those areas are moved away. So it will be very interesting for us to look at the data to see how that even informs the way we fight illegal mining.
Yeah, you're right. The other thing also is that when it comes to these mining areas, for those areas where people engage in illegal mining, Galamsey, for instance, over time, you have some of the young men and women within the community raising funds to now start their own, Galamsey projects. And once they start those Galamsey projects, they become wealthy. They help others to also raise funds and get into it. And so in no time, there's a boom within the economy of that area. And for those of us who come from mining areas, my goodness, if you get there, they control the local economy.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. I mean,
Western region has a lot of mining.
Oh, it does.
Ashanti also has a lot of mining. But look at the numbers. Over 1 million people in Ashanti region poor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said, well, anyway.
Anyway, let's get into other stories.
Yes, there's a story on page 8 of the New Finder. Government supports for garment factories to generate 27,000 jobs. The Minister for Trade says that the government is set to deepen its partnership with the private sector to establish 3 large-scale garment factories, a move expected to create about 27,000 direct jobs and significantly expand Ghana's manufacturing base, the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry has announced. So this is good. At a point, I don't know if the data has changed. Ghana was the largest importer of Obroni Wewu in the world. Second-hand clothing. So if you are going to invest in 3 factories to create 27,000 jobs, that's good. We should do that. Yeah.